Hi Libra and Libra Rising, here is your horoscope for September 2025. I'm Astrologer Joseph Anthony. Okay, we are in eclipse season again. We have 2 eclipses this month that are going to be very profound. And every time eclipses hit, which is usually about every 6 months, we have some major doorways that are opening and closing. So for many of you, it has a lot to do with your spiritual aspect right here and your health and daily routine right there. And I will cover both of those in a second. So if you're a Libra rising or a Libra sun sign, this is a very general, basic overview sun sign reading using Western tropical astrology, using the whole house system. It's very generic because everyone's birthday and birth charts are different, but you'll still get the general overview of what these planets are trying to tell you based on the sun sign reading. Okay, so take that into consideration. So as we start off this month, the big news is really going to be the lunar eclipse that lights up your 6th house right there. And I'll get into that in a minute. But it is a doorway that's closing or something that's changing in this area for many of you. At the same time, around the middle of the month, as the sun makes its way through Libra into your sign, there's going to be a solar eclipse that activates this 12th house of spirituality and mysticism. So you could see here that these 2 access points are going to be super activated this month. And there's going to be a lot of activity in the subconscious, having to do with health matters and your daily routine. Now, your ruler Venus is in Leo as we begin the month, which is in a very favorable position. Venus does work well in Leo. And so this is the 11th house. We also have Mercury also in Leo, and it's about to leave that sign, but it's also in a very creative position. So we have these 2 planets. We start off the month in this 11th house, and this is suggesting communication, socializing, interacting, the community, the future, being friendly, being outgoing. This is all the general theme of Venus and Mercury as we begin the month in this 11th house. Now, both of these signs will be switching signs. We'll be going into Virgo. And then Mercury will also enter your sign, Libra, by the end of the month. So that's going to be very helpful. But Venus will be here, for half the month, and then it'll switch gears and go into Virgo and into the 12th house, and I'll cover that as well. But we do have Mars in your sign in the 1st house. So there's a lot of drive or attention being brought to your physical appearance, being seen, being heard, keeping busy, getting a lot more attention, and also self-analyzation. Mars in the 1st house tends to analyze oneself. What am I doing? Where am I going? What do I want? That kind of mindset with the Mars in the 1st house. And so a lot of you are feeling motivated in some way to change or to look at yourself in a different way. So that's the theme here as we start off September. But we also have, on the very first day, we have Saturn retrograding in Pisces. And so here it is right here. It goes from your 7th house into your 6th house. Now, this will be very important because over the course of the next 4 months or so, as Saturn makes its way retrograde backwards in the 6th house, it's going to remind you of things from the past, jobs from the past, situations from the past, health matters from the past, pets from the past. Saturn is very karmic. And in Pisces, it's very spiritual or mystical. It could be very creative. And it's giving you one last look in this 6th house of daily routine, health matters, pets, things pertaining to all kinds of health issues. And so it wants you to take a look at, let's say, your diet, your exercise program, the jobs that you've had. Were you happy with them? Do you need to go back to one? Do you need to complete something? People from the past may resurface connected to your job, an old job or an old neighborhood or, some sort of karmic path that you were on in the past. So Saturn's going to work its magic here all the way until January of 2026. Now, we'll go direct in November and then eventually leave Pisces for good for at least the next 30 years because Saturn will not return to Pisces for another 30 years. And then it'll stay in the 7th house of relationships for quite a while, at least a couple of years. So we see that this is going to be important, okay? We see that Mercury on the second, late on the second into the third, will go into Virgo. Now, Mercury in Virgo is very analytical. It loves to analyze every small little detail and tends to worry a little bit more. And it's in the 12th house. So we're looking at spiritual matters. We're looking at the subconscious. We're looking at, by yourself, thinking about your life and your purpose. And, you're analyzing every little detail. Of course, the sun is there also. So either you're spending some quality time by yourself, maybe in nature or around water, or you're just, feeling stuck. The 12th house is the house of limitations as well, and so you might find yourself, hey, man, I feel stuck. I don't know where to go, what I'm doing, and this is because Mars is in the first house. So you got Mars pushing you or propelling you forward. And at times you got now Mercury and the Sun in the 12th going, I better slow down. I'm not sure. There's this questioning everything because of the Virgo energy. So keep that in mind. The energies are running through you, and they're wanting you to take a look at something. Now, Uranus goes retrograde in Gemini on the 6th, making the 4th outer planet to go retrograde. So here it is in stationary position. And it's in the 9th house of higher learning, expectations, purpose, adventure. So when Uranus goes retrograde in Gemini, it's all again about thinking, because Gemini rules communication and the mind. And so here we have all kinds of thoughts about your future. Where am I going? What am I doing? Where do I want to travel to? What is the meaning of life and all this stuff? You'll be asking all the big questions. And so these outer planets, 1, 2, 3, and 4, are all about your partnerships, how you interact, the connections you've made in the past. And this is really important because it's giving, as a Libra and Libra rising, you're the sign of partnership. And so you're questioning all of it. And there's a lot of connection to the past with Uranus retrograde and, of course, Neptune retrograde and Saturn retrograde and Pluto retrograde. So there's a lot of karma here that you'll be dealing with over the course of the next 4 months with relationships. Now, why am I saying that? Because on the 7th, this powerful full moon lunar eclipse will bring things to light in this part of your chart. Now, notice that we have the chart divided in half. It's actually in 4s, but this part of the chart represents relationships and other people, while this part of the chart represents your initiative and drive and your connection to others. So notice you got all these planets in retrograde, and then we add this full moon lunar eclipse right there in the 6th house. So it is really having you question things like your daily routine. Are you happy with your daily routine? Do I need to change my daily routine? This could have something to do with pets and relating to others on a sort of a daily level. It could be anything to do with health, not necessarily your own, maybe others' people's health or pets' health. This is all the theme here. But whatever it is, a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces is about spiritual awareness. Who are you? What are you here to do? What talents do you have that you could share with others? That's what this moon is doing. It's bringing things to light in the spiritual realm so that you could deal with them. Okay, so I don't see this as a negative. I see this as more of an awakening process that's happening inside of you. And so that's going to be one of the most significant alignments. Now, Mercury enters Libra all the way up at the 18th. So we go from the full moon on the 7th all the way to the 18th, because there's really not a whole lot going on in between. Now, Mercury in the first house of identity and self is now again about self-realization and partnerships. So the theme of partnerships runs deep this month because of the eclipses, because of the retrogrades. But now Mercury in Libra is about finding balance within yourself once again. So for the next 3 weeks, Mercury will continue to do that. And you'll be thinking a lot more about socializing and other people and your connection to them and, what you want out of life and so on and so forth. Again, Mercury is about communication and mental thoughts. Of course, your ruler Venus the following day will enter analytical Virgo. So now we have this intense energy building up in this 12th house. Now Venus in Virgo is not the greatest for relationships because she is the perfectionist when she's in Virgo. She analyzes every little thing about your partner. Or, do they have hairs out of place? Do they have bad habits? Poor eating habits and so on. This could also represent financial matters. Venus also rules financial matters and values. And so there's this deep analytical energy that's building right around this time, beginning with Mercury and then all these other planets. But this will last for about 4 weeks or so until Venus enters Libra, which will be the next month. But the solar eclipse is going to be in Virgo as well on the 21st. And this will be at 29 degrees. And this is going to also set the stage for more analyzing of spiritual matter, mysticism. Do you need to do more mystical and spiritual practices? Are you a religious person? Do you need to deepen your religious connections? You'll be questioning all of it. And this doorway is opened. And of course, eclipses can take up to 6 months to manifest. So it's not like a one-day event. It's like a doorway that's opening up saying, okay, what bad habits do I need to get rid of? What do I need to understand on a deeper level? Where should I, go next in terms of my spiritual practice? And what do I, need to change? And that's what it's suggesting here. So this doorway between here and here is wide open for many of you. Now, you'll have some help with Mars. Mars will go into Scorpio, which is a very intense alignment. And it'll be going through this second house of income and finance and value. And so now your drive and determination to accumulate or to look deeper into your values and, to chase financial reward in some way could be deepened here with Mars in Scorpio. This will happen over the next 5.5 weeks. So keep that in mind. And then finally, we have the Sun entering Libra on the 22nd and the 23rd. And now this begins to highlight in a more positive light, the Sun going through Libra. The Sun in the first house is kind of happy-go-lucky. It wants to be seen. It wants to be heard. And it enjoys the attention from other people, especially, you having Mercury in Libra as well. You also have the transiting moon in Libra when this happens. So this could be a nice positive time for many of you to shine, to interact, and to enjoy the company of others. Anyway, there's the general overview. If you want to know more, I do a deeper dive into this using the aspects in my Inner Circle community, as you can see here. And in the community, I do weekly astrology as well, where you understand the dynamics of the astrology, the overall astrology that's happening for the week. And so people in the community really enjoy that. And of course, we do have members every week on the Sunday Zoom call that send me a chart or want me to look at a chart, and I answer a few questions for them. I go over some of the stuff that's going on in the news. I make predictions, so every Sunday we're on a Zoom call. So consider joining. I left the link down below, and there's a free 7-day trial, so there's no obligation. You can check it out and see if it's for you. And I hope to see you in the community. Anyway, have a great month, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye for now.